Gautam Adani built himself from nothing into a billionaire with businesses in ports, energy, and building projects. By 2022, he was worth $150 billion and became the second richest person in the world for a short time. In January 2023, everything changed. A report said his company was breaking rules and lying about money. This made his company lose $112 billion in value very fast. Many people in India looked up to Adani's success. His sudden fall shocked the whole country. How did such a well-known businessman end up in such big trouble? And how has his fall changed things for India? In Mumbai's diamond markets, a young college dropout named Gautam Adani learned to sort gems. This was his first step toward building one of Asia's biggest business groups. Born in 1962 in Gujarat to a small textile merchant, Adani left college after 1 year. After working with diamonds, Adani saw that the real money was in moving goods from place to place. By the mid-1980s, he started a trade business with his brother, first with farm products, then with materials for factories. In 1994, Adani got a deal to build the Mundra port when others didn't want it. This port became his key to success. By controlling this entry point for goods, he gained power with both suppliers and buyers. In the early 2000s, Adani noticed more coal coming into India as the economy grew. He became India's biggest coal trader, built power plants and set up power lines. He controlled every step from import to customer. Adani's growth sped up in 2014, when Narendra Modi became prime minister. His companies won many government contracts with little competition. By 2020, Adani controlled much of India's basic services: ports, power plants, power lines, gas networks, airports, and food supply chains. Between 2020 and 2022, during a global pandemic, his personal wealth grew by over 1,000%. In September 2022, he briefly became the world's second richest person, worth $155.7 billion. But people asked questions. How did his companies get so many government contracts? Why did his projects get quick approvals? How could his businesses take on so much debt? Some noticed Adani's private jets were used by Modi during his 2014 campaign. Others pointed to rule changes that helped Adani's businesses. If you're a CEO or HR professional looking to hire top talent or build strong business relationships, you know how crucial it is to understand the online presence and reputation of potential candidates or partners. You need to ensure that people you work with align with your values and brand. Let me introduce you to Whitebridge AI, a powerful tool designed to give you deep insights into the digital footprint of anyone you're considering for hire or collaboration. Whitebridge AI makes it simple to track an individual's online presence by gathering data from over 30 trusted sources. It scans multiple online platforms in real time, providing a complete picture of their digital reputation, whether it's social media, public records, or hidden data points. I even ran a report about myself, and guess what? I found out I'm a huge Real Madrid fan. And they even know my taste in football, and that's something someone might find interesting about me. It's a great reminder that the platform gives you a complete picture of what's out there, including those little details that could shape how people perceive you. For CEOs, HR professionals, or anyone in charge of making important hiring decisions, understanding what's being said about potential candidates online is essential. So, if you want to gain critical insights into the people you're considering, visit whitebridge.ai and run a scan today. Plus, use my code EASTMONEY and you'll receive a 25% discount on your next purchase. It's the ultimate tool for anyone looking to ensure that their hires or partnerships are in line with their company's values and reputation. The relationship that grew in Gujarat became much stronger when Modi moved to New Delhi. Together, Adani and Modi changed how business worked in India. Their close ties made it hard to tell where government plans end and company goals began. In 2002, Gujarat saw deadly riots that killed over 1,000 people, mostly Muslims. As world leaders criticized Chief Minister Modi, many business people stayed away. Not Adani. He organized the first vibrant Gujarat Summit in 2003, an event that helped Modi rebuild his image as business-friendly. During the vibrant Gujarat summit, when no one wanted to invest in Gujarat after the riots, Adani was the first to raise his hand, said political analyst. This support during Modi's worst time built trust between them that lasted for years. The rewards came quickly. Between 2005 and 2007, Gujarat gave Adani over 45,000 acres of land in Mundra at prices as low as 1 rupee per square meter, much below market value. Environmental permits that normally took years were given in months. One former Gujarat official said, "The speed with which flies moved when they had Adani's name on them was remarkable. What took other businesses months or years happened for Adani in days." By 2014, as Modi ran for prime minister, this partnership had already made Adani very powerful. Once Modi took office, Adani's business grew even faster. In 2019, despite having no experience running airports, Adani Group won bids to run 6 major airports. The government had changed bidding rules just months earlier, removing the need for previous airport experience. When Australia's Carmichael coal mine faced protests, India's foreign minister personally asked Australian officials to approve Adani's project. In Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, where Adani went, Indian diplomats seemed to follow. During a state visit to Bangladesh in 2021, Prime Minister Modi arrived for meetings, and within hours, Adani signed a $3 billion power plant deal without any competition. As Adani expanded into key areas, energy, defense, media, questioning his business deals became the same as questioning the government's choices. By 2022, Adani's success was shown as India's success. Government officials often used Adani's growth as proof of India's economic rise. Trade teams regularly included Adani executives, making him like an unofficial diplomat. What makes the Adani-Modi relationship new is how it's changed India's economy. It creates national champions through political choices, rather than market competition. For supporters, this was a helpful partnership that sped up growth. For critics, it looked like companies taking over government functions. The truth is probably somewhere in between.
पर अडानी ग्रुप ने अपना जवाब दिया है। हिंडनबर्ग रिसर्च ने 88
अडानी का नेटवर्थ दूसरे नंबर से 16वें नंबर पर जा पहुंचा है। विपक्षी दल पूरी
The biggest corporate drama in India's history is turning into a sequel. Short seller Hindenburg Research has published a new report accusing the Indian regulator of a conflict of interest with the Adani Group.
This report from a small American company sent shockwaves through financial markets in January 2023. Hindenburg Research had built a name for finding company fraud. They study a company, publish what they find, and make money when the stock prices fall. For years, Adani seemed untouchable. His company's stock kept going up, his wealth grew, and his business spread to many areas quickly. Few in India had heard of the Hindenburg before January 24th, when they released their 106-page report called Adani Group, how the world's third richest man is pulling the largest con in corporate history. They spent 2 years making this report, talking to former Adani workers and checking thousands of documents. The claims were huge. Hindenburg said the Adani Group was tricking people about its stock and lying about money for many years. The report said the group used fake companies in tax-free countries to make its stock prices look better and hide how much it owed. The report said Gautam Adani's brother, Vinod, controlled at least 38 fake companies in Marathas and other countries. These companies were used to change Adani stock prices and hide debt. The report also pointed out that 8 of the 22 top leaders in the Adani Group were family members. Hindenburg noted that the Adani Group has been looked at in 4 major government fraud cases, which claimed money washing, stealing taxpayer money, and corruption, totaling about $17 billion. The Adani Group's answer came quickly but didn't work well. Instead of answering the specific questions with facts, they gave a 413-page response that mostly avoided the detailed questions. They claimed this is not just an attack on any specific company, but a planned attack on India.
Our balance sheet is healthy and assets robust. We will continue to focus on a long-term value creation and growth.
This defense backfired badly. By saying that criticizing Adani was the same as criticizing India, They showed what many critics had long thought, that the line between Adani's business and India's national interests had become too blurred. The market response was quick and harsh. Adani Enterprises canceled a $2.5 billion stock offering. By February 2023, Adani Group companies had lost over $112 billion in value. Gautam Adani personally lost over $80 billion, falling from the world's third richest person to outside the top 20 in just days. Foreign investors left. Credit Suisse stopped accepting Adani bonds as security. Global index companies began reviewing Adani stocks. Problems spread beyond just Adani companies, as investors questioned India's rules more widely. For everyday Indians, the results were also worrying. Major banks like the State Bank of India had invested a lot in Adani companies who were facing big losses. What started as a company scandal was quickly becoming a national money crisis. The report made people look again at earlier claims against Adani. Indian opposition parties wanted government investigations. Journalists who had been careful about investigating Adani now felt more confident in their concerns. Most importantly, the report broke the idea that criticizing Adani was anti-national, with foreign investors and international news now asking the same questions that Indian critics had raised for years, being harder to dismiss these concerns as political attacks. A major environmental problem is happening alongside Adani's money troubles. From Australia to Sri Lanka, local people are fighting against Adani's projects that harm nature. The Carmichael coal mine in Queensland, Australia, is Adani's most disputed overseas project. This huge mine covers 44,700 hectares, about the size of 86,000 football fields. It sits near two important natural areas, the Great Barrier Reef and the traditional lands of the Wangan and Jagalagoo people. This project would make 4.7 billion tons of carbon emissions during its life. That equals 8 years of Australia's total emissions. The mine threatens the Great Barrier Reef. To ship coal from Carmichael, Adani needed to expand its port, which meant digging up the seabed just 19 kilometers from the reef. Scientists warned this would release dirt that could travel for kilometers and harm coral. The mine would use 12 billion liters of water each year in an area that often has water shortages. Despite 7 years of legal fights and strong protests, Adani moved forward, changing its name to Bravas Mining. Documents showed that Indian officials often brought up the Carmichael mines in meetings with Australia, suggesting it was a test of their relationship. In Sri Lanka, Adani's 500-megawatt wind power project faced similar opposition. The project, covering 60 kilometers of coast, was opposed by fishing communities who said the environmental study was not honest. The Mannar region has one of Sri Lanka's most important bird migration paths. The planned turbines would cross important flight paths. Local fishermen protested on Mannar's beaches. They say this is green energy, but there's nothing green about destroying our jobs. Records show that Adani's projects got environmental approval in just 13 weeks, the fastest for any big project in Sri Lanka's history. Lawyers filed cases claiming the approval skipped required public meetings. A pattern appeared in all Adani's international projects: quick approvals, questionable environmental studies, and ignoring local communities. In Bangladesh, people said they were forced to give up their land for Adani's coal power plant. Instead of working with communities, the company often used tough legal methods. Financial institutions started to see these risks. Norway's wealth fund stopped investing in Adani ports, and major insurance companies like AXA and Swiss Re refused to cover the Carmichael mine. Deutsche Bank, Standard Chartered, and Citigroup all said they would not fund Adani's coal projects. The impact of Adani's troubles went far beyond just investors. Most Indians didn't realize how much Adani companies touched their daily lives. When the Hindenburg report caused his business to fall, it affected taxi drivers, teachers, and farmers whose savings were now at risk. The Adani scandal hurt India because his companies had become basic parts of daily life. Many Indians used Adani electricity, traveled through Adani airports, and ate food that passed through Adani shipping networks. When these services faced a crisis, the effects spread throughout society. In the stock market, the impact came fast. Foreign investors took out over $3.8 billion from Indian stocks after the Hindenburg report. The main stock index dropped nearly 3,000 points in just 7 trading days. More worrying was how foreign investors started questioning all of India's market, not just Adani stocks. This case raises serious concerns about whether India's rules are working properly, said a manager at a European investment firm. If something this big can happen to one of India's largest companies without being caught earlier, what else might we be missing? The problems quickly spread to market regulators. Securities and Exchange Board of India was criticized for not finding the alleged problems, despite years of unusual stock behavior. When SEBI finally started an investigation, many thought it wasn't enough. The Supreme Court had to step in, ordering SEBI to finish its investigation. India's world standing was damaged. Rating agencies kept India's ratings the same, but privately worried about how the country was run. The cost of protecting Indian government debt against default went up, a bad sign in usually stable markets. The diplomatic effects were also bad. Prime Minister Modi had personally promoted India as a place to invest, often highlighting companies like Adani Group. When these companies faced serious claims, it created tensions with other countries. Japanese and French officials asked for reassurance about their investments in Indian projects. The Life Insurance Corporation of India, with over 250 million policyholders, had invested heavily in Adani companies. When those stock prices collapsed, LIC lost about $3.2 billion, affecting middle-class Indians who depend on these policies for financial security. The Employees Provident Fund also had money in Adani stocks. Labor unions estimated losses at several $100 million, money belonging to factory workers and office staff who couldn't afford such losses. International banks became unwilling to finance Adani projects, causing delays for approved plans. A solar energy project in Tamil Nadu couldn't get funding. An airport expansion in Maharashtra needed changes after funding partners left. Important electricity projects were uncertain as partners reconsidered their involvement. The damage spread to trust in regulators across industries. Since Adani operated in so many sectors, multiple regulatory bodies were questioned. This lack of trust threatened to slow approval for all Indian businesses. The Adani scandal showed a basic problem in India's economic structure. Too much important infrastructure controlled by too few companies, often closely tied to political leaders. This created dangerous risk. When one company group stumbled, the impact spread through the entire economy, affecting millions who depend on their services.